Hello, it was on this day in 1778 that Jean-Jacques Rousseau died. He was one of the most significant contributors to European culture, an educationalist, a musician and a political philosopher. And in this week of elections, that seemed to be an interesting theme. His most famous phrase is, "Man was born free, but everywhere he is in chains." And his assumption was that human beings initially left to themselves would be good, generous, cooperative, outward going. The trouble starts when they start trying to form society, get together into groups, because then they begin to become afraid of each other and competitive with each other and draw in on themselves, become self-interested. And so what's crucial is that society should be designed in such a way as to enable human beings to find their original goodness, if that, or as near to that as possible. And his assumption is that the way that needs to be done is by a way of looking at society that assumes that everyone's equal and that everyone has an equal right to share in the produce of work and of the soil, and I think this extract from his from one of his books, The Social Contract, just is a lovely summary of what he thinks and a challenge to us as we decide how to vote. The first man, he says, who having fenced in a piece of land said, "This is mine," and found people naive enough to believe him, that man was the true founder of civil society. From how many crimes, wars and murders, from how many horrors and misfortunes might not anyone have saved mankind by pulling up the stakes or filling in the ditch and crying to his fellows, "Beware of listening to this impostor. You are undone if you once forget that the fruits of the earth belong to us all, and the earth itself to nobody." He was very much what I think today we'd call a socialist. And I thought it might be helpful just to look at the way in which our two political parties propose to share prosperity and happiness among the people of the United Kingdom, because I think, putting aside all the individual policies that we've heard so much about, the Labour Party are fundamentally trying to live out that creed, that socialist creed, and Keir Starmer went to great pains earlier in the campaign to make sure that he was seen to be a socialist. The alternative way of helping a society to become productive and happy is to recognise that human beings are not good, they're not generous, they are by nature self-interested, but to allow that self-interest to develop in such a way that it ends up in everybody benefiting. So that, for example, an employer needs employees in order to develop his or her wealth, and an employee needs the work in order to get a decent salary for their labour. And so if you can get a proper arrangement between employer and employee, then you have got everybody being happy and everybody acting according to their own self-interest. And this is the fundamental approach of capitalism. And I think, as I say, putting aside all the individual policies, when we vote on Thursday, it is actually, in the end, a decision between socialism and capitalism. And I think Rousseau would definitely have voted Labour.